Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning into obviously Anfield Road TV, but it is a dual stream and it is Spider LFC. How are you doing, mate?
How's it going, lads? You all right? Welcome to a dual appearance, which is a strange one for us, isn't it? It's normally either of us appearing on each other's channel, but we're actually co-streaming this tonight, which is thank you, StreamYard.
So yeah, it's a big up to StreamYard, massive, and yeah, fantastic. If you don't use it and you're thinking about using StreamYard as a platform, massively would very much give them the bigs up because they're always trying to the best, aren't they, Kev, in terms of revolution and technology and everything, really. But I think it's one of the most easier applications on the market at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's very simplistic and very sleek. We look like we're doing an advert for StreamYard now because we're not. I'm an OBS guy. I've always been an OBS guy. I mean, me and you've been delving into the OBS world recently as well, but this is going to be a lot easier and smarter for co-op shows, and which will be a lot more sleek and gives us more time to not have to sit here in front of the screens and fix stuff. So.
But yeah, it's only a chilled stream tonight, everyone, as I said. Very not planned really, but as we said, just jump on, have a little natter about the football, and if anyone's got any questions or comments or whatnot, get them in the comment section below on Kev's channel as well. And of course, Kev, I'm hoping you should be able to see your comments. I'm guessing.
I should be able to. I think so. I haven't checked it yet because I'm too busy talking to yours.
That's it. We'll be able to find out then anyway. But but big up there, Doug, as well. Scotland, big results for the Scottish, Doug, and of course, let us know your thoughts on the game, Doug. As I said, I've only just watched the highlights, really, Doug, but obviously you've watched all the game, and we'll speak about how important of a win it will be for
Spain are in the mud, lad.
Oh yeah, they're well and truly absolutely knackered. Big up there, Tom. How are we? Andrew, I said, I'll say happy birthday now, but we'll all wish you a happy birthday on Thursday, mate, and I will very much see you very soon, matey. So as I said, hope you had a good week. You big up there, Brian. Apologies on the late start there, but just me fiddling with the new tech, but it's all good. Also nice to see you lads. Been a while. Yes, it has, Andrew, so apologies. But yeah, Kev, how have you been, most importantly, mate? As I said, is there anything that you want to really speak about tonight in terms of football, anything that you've seen this weekend? Of course, we'll be mentioning the Luis Diaz, obviously, as you can see on the screen there. Very positive news.
Well, from my own point of view and from my own guys on stream that's going to be watching as well, I had to say I'm very, very impressed last night watching the display that Ireland played against France. I thought it was one of the best games I've ever seen us play under Kenny, and I think it's a clear indication of what he wants to do and where he wants to go with this young side going forward. And it's very fresh, you know what I mean? The average age is really young. So
young Gun Ferguson, is it up front?
Yeah, a lot of debuts made last night, so I was delighted with that. Ogbonna was on there, and Obafemi and them guys, they're all fantastic additions now to the squad. Johnson came on to make it. He looked good when he came on. So look, it's the best performance. That second half, I thought we were the better side overall against France, even though they scored that wonder goal with Pavard. It was just it's just a lack of mindset in those couple of minutes. So for me, Ireland were brilliant last night.
Yeah, 100%, miss. And Pavard, he always scores a bloody well. He's got that weird.
Three goals. He's only got 3 goals for France in raw wordies.
Yeah, or edge of the box, right hand side on the volley. And but yeah, big up the Irish, as I said. And that's the only positive thing in terms of what Ireland's obviously getting beat 1-0 last night. But it's just about getting that experience, as you alluded to, mate. In terms
it was a world class goalkeeper stopped it from being a draw, to be honest with you. Yeah, I can't say it without thinking of my nan.
Me nan. Yeah.
But no, man, a world class save is what saved that there. That was brilliant that last night. He was in fair juice. That's the sign of a world class goalkeeper. There's a reason why he's keeping Lloris out of the side. So yeah.
Don't get me. Well, what's your thoughts on Lloris, chat? I think he's one of the most overrated goalkeepers in European football. Has been for the last couple of easy 10 years for me.
Speaking of overrated.
Yeah, we'll speak. Not to jump the gun, but yeah, we'll delve into Harry Kane, Lord Harold, or whatever you want to call him. he's massively overrated, which we'll talk about tonight. But yeah, Hugo Lloris, he's always got a clanger in him anyway. But big up there, Eamons, and Kev, just let us know. I was going to say, if you, hopefully, as we're just testing this out tonight, but if you can, are you able to like feature from your end? Like,
I can see. Well, like, I don't know if I'm able to feature comments, but I can at least see my comments from this side. So maybe that's not a feature they've added in yet.
Good. What do you think of Ireland's last night? Obviously, but would you add on to that really, mate? In terms of
some great performances. Really, the lads in the back line did a fair good job as well of clearing the ball. I was really proud of them last night, to be honest with you, and it just reminded me of an old school Irish performance, because I mean, Ireland down through the years has never been known for its flair in football and its and whatever, but what we did have was heart, passion, and a non-stop work ethic on the pitch. You had your Aldridges in the team, and your Houghtons and your Stauntons and all these grafters and Shea Given and Robbie Keanes and these guys that could pop up and just like play their heart out. And even going back through the years, we've had a lot of lads that were based growing up in England but had Irish parents and grandparents, and and played for decided to play for Ireland and stuff. So we were glad of those as well. But they still had more. They still had a passion for the team, and I'm seeing that a lot lately. Coming back in the Irish squad, it looks like a together squad, and I think the win for the Irish rugby team has given the football team a bit of a boost, to be honest with you as well. So I think it's starting to spread out like a good virus. It's filtered through everywhere. So yeah, there's a good feel around Ireland at the moment. That I mean, Holland have already lost to France, and we just barely lost them. So I mean, if it's going to be a battle out for second place, we just need to beat Holland, really, and see if we can do that. And it's doable for this Irish team the way they're playing at the moment. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely, mate. As I said, the exposure against elite level teams like that last night will only obviously do Ireland so much in the long term for me as well, mate. And I think I'm hoping that you do qualify. You should. I know you've got the Dutch, but even I know
it's just a crack alone having Irish fans over at these tournaments. We get along with everybody no matter what happens. There's never hassle. So we just go over there and you see us drinking with the Dutch, you see us drinking with some of the English, you see us drinking with the Swedish. You see us. It's just good banter, like.
Yeah, 100%. And don't let me start on Grealish and Rice, the way they changed their allegiance. That done my head in anyway. Like, yeah, so well and truly.
Yeah, it's all right. I wouldn't want to. Grealish didn't seem the Irish type of player,
No, very much.
Too fancy boyish, wasn't he?
Yeah, too much Geordie Shaw, really. So,
yeah, not enough Jimmy Neal, is this it?
But definitely. Jack, we need to get up for the big games. Let's see how we do against Greece.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know me, Eamons, everyone on our channel, the majority of us, I'd much rather support Ireland and support Scotland with my Irish roots, my Irish bloodline. And
that's because you're Scots, Jack.
Yeah.
Scots are pretty much Irish.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Yeah.
And my dad's side of the family, anyway, the Scotland. With
that as well.
With my second name as well. So pick up the Scottish, pick up the Irish as well. And anyone that plays against England, up the opposition. 100% Spider, really proud of the boys. Big up there, Brian. Well and truly, mate. Big up there, Lavanya. I hope you're doing well, mate. Massive thank you for coming in, mate. And I said, chat, let us know if you got your notifications. Delighted for you, mate. But we'll quickly touch on, obviously, as we said, it's not going to be a long stream tonight. But speaking of home, UK nations anyway, in terms of Scotland, I know, as I said, Doug, at the top of the show, I didn't watch this game, but Scott McTominay, Kev, he's got 4 goals in 2 Scotland games. Bit of a mad one.
Yeah.
What do you think of his performances recently for Scotland? Obviously, he's not really, Casemiro coming into Manchester United over the last couple of months. Bit of a weird player.
I don't think United suits McTominay, to be honest with you. I think he's more suited to a different style of football, really. He's a box-to-box type midfielder. But when he's let off the leash a bit from defensive duties, I think he's more beneficial to the attack. So yeah, look, it's a tough way. He plays different for United in that style. He has to change his game a bit for that. But I think he's more suited to that driving type of midfielder when he's let loose. He can do it, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely for me. I think when you look at Pereira as well, obviously at Fulham, obviously notably at Manchester United, the just certain players are just absolutely wasted at certain clubs, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me. I think McTominay, for his betterment of his career, as much as he'd like to stay at Manchester United, I think, especially if he continues getting bloody 2 goals a game for Scotland, he'll probably be the highest goal scorer in European qualification at this rate. He's definitely up there, 100% there. But obviously, that is the 3rd assist for Andy Robbo. Now, Kev, in chat, in 2 games. Speaking of McTominay, but Andy Robbo has supplied 3 goals in the last 2 games for Scotland. And for me, it's no surprise given how much pushed up the pitch Andy Robbo is in terms of obviously the formation. We'll have a quick look here. You look how high up Andy Robbo is pushed up for Scotland. Would you like to see that a bit more for Liverpool in terms of, I know we don't play a 3-back system or a 5-back system really that would utilise his qualities going forward, but it's for me, it's a possibility that Liverpool should be looking at.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I don't think Klopp will ever play with a 3 at the back. Well, what he can play with and what he did with Dortmund was a 4-2-3-1, and a 4-2-3-1 allows the midfield to get a bit more packed, which allows more defensive help for Robbo as he's going forward. So that midfield, as they're coming to receive the ball, can dip in, allow Trent and Robbo to move on, and then they can put an all-out attack with pretty much almost a 6-man to 7-man attack outlet. I think it's very possible. I think we're lacking the quality of midfielder at the moment that can cover Andy as he's going forward.
Yeah.
So Diago doesn't do it enough on that left-hand side. In the midfield. Henderson was able to do it for Trent for many a season, but as we know, he's a bit leggy lately. So, the legs are kind of gone that way, and we need youth in there basically to be able to do that, but youth with strength. And if we can do that and have 2 right and left-sided midfielders that can do a bit of box-to-box work rather than just hanging around forward, then I think that I think you'll see Andy and Trent only see the benefits of that. For me, I would, my take on this, I would put Trent into that right midfield kind of role and then stick a better right back, because then Trent already has the capabilities to somewhat defend. But if he's taken off the full defensive abilities, I think he can cover really, really well. So that's what I would like to see. We just need kind of similar on the left hand side with more of a pivot role as well, but just somebody with a bit of a defensive nous in him. And obviously you're going to have Bajcetic and Fabinho sitting in there in the centre vying for that position, or maybe Bajcetic can be that guy in the left as well. He's well capable of it. So as he develops, so maybe we don't need to get somebody there, but we'll see. But look, that's what we need for Andy, to benefit Andy and Trent. We need to allow them to go forward without the worries of defending.
Yeah, and me and you spoke at length already this season, mate. I know a lot of people have on their channels as well. I'm hoping, obviously, we'll speak about a certain centre back that Liverpool being linked with tonight as well, chat. Obviously, the Frenchman. But it will be interesting, and I'm hoping that's something, as we spoke about Kev this season, chat, that Liverpool have spoken heavily, bang the drum, literally bang the head against the wall on countless occasions in terms of using this 2 weeks that we've had with international football. Hopefully Liverpool have looked at a potential 3-back system, a 5-back system, and as Kev's alluded to there, we need to get Robbo and Trent up the pitch much more. But of course, that's not doable in recent weeks and recent months due to the fact of the midfield frailties, as we know. But big up there, chat. And if anyone watched the Scotland game, let us know your thoughts on it. But as I said, a big result. But Andy chipping in yet again. Can I see the table? Let's have a on the fly yet. So at the minute, as it stands, Scotland are first with 6 points. Spain obviously second with 3 points, and Norway, very strangely enough, drawing today against Georgia, which is a bit of a poor result in all honesty with Norway. But obviously, Skelliet, obviously the main hottest player in terms of European football, in terms of form, did play this evening, didn't score for them anyway. But I think that's a very disappointing result, would you say, for Kev, for Norway?
Yeah, so I was looking at my chat there with Mark Forrest. So yeah, it's a disappointing result. I mean, especially if they didn't have Haaland, though, did
they? No, he's out injured.
Yeah, he's out injured, and he saw it's disappointing for there.
Does this work? Because I tell you what, if they do, it does. Is that on your social?
That's the one on my social.
There we go.
There you go. So that's my social there. So that's good.
There we go.
There you go.
StreamYard, if anyone's watching, absolute legend. There we go.
That's pretty class. We'll figure this out. We just figured this out. We just found this thing like 2 minutes before we came online.
It's like the Starship Enterprise and start pressing buttons. And end up in Birkenhead, basically. Yeah. But yeah, sorry there, man. But yeah,
no, I know we were just talking about Norway. I don't know, like Norway. I don't see Norway as being much of a threat without Haaland, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
in any scenario.
Did you see the challenge? The guy got more or less nearly killed. But I
didn't see that.
Oh, you can watch that tonight, chat. If you haven't seen it this week, obviously that everyone was kicking off on Twitter due to the fact of obviously Rodri should have been a red card, but it's Rodri being Rodri. He's the master of the dark arts in terms of escaping buttons.
Is that just a Manchester City thing? Because what's his name? What was his name before? They used to be in there. Oh my God,
Nigel de Jong.
Oh no! Him as well. But in between, the main guy that was their captain for
Fernandinho. Yeah,
Fernandinho. He was how he got away with some of his tackles. I'll never know. And he would calmly just walk back, and the refs wouldn't even look in his direction or give out. And for me, I don't know what it is. It's like the referees don't look at the central defensive midfielder tackles in Manchester City's team for some reason, as if they're not, they don't see that position or they don't know what they do. It's weird, man. They get away. Yeah, Fernandinho, he gets away. He got away with murder. The amount of times he should have been sent off like straight absolute reds and didn't even get a yellow was ridiculous.
I've screamed. I've squared up the telly. And I'm pretty sure all of us on a couple of occasions where you're literally screaming at the telly on Monday Night Football or something where I think it was obviously one of the seasons where we did finish, of course, second in recent years. But as Kev just said there, you just watch him. He's a master at it. He just hacks down countless players, and you're like, "What are you doing, son?" But it's amazing what a couple of closed envelopes do.
It's weird, like, because Fabinho will like kick out of the fella going back first time in the first 5 minutes, get a yellow card, and he's booked straight away. Fernandinho will do it about 15 times a game and get away with it. It was strange, one.
Well and truly. We're going to obviously the centre back news at the minute. Obviously, pick up the Anfield talk. Obviously, all their links will be in the description, so please do head out on their socials, as we said. But big up to everyone's comments. I'm sure I haven't mentioned it, but thoughts on the nasty comment. Have you seen these, Kev? I'm guessing you haven't. The comments by, I think you're on. I
did. I just had to hit the Go XLR. Yeah. Before coming on, and I was on Twitter when I was receiving your invite. I looked at this straight away and I seen it with your man Indica. So I was just saying the available in the transfer, and it's. I mean, yeah, if one team is going.
Oh, sorry, just in relation to obviously what Lavia has said in terms of the comments, in terms of what the Dutch have said. It was Hullet and Van Basten basically.
Oh yeah, they were talking about him. Yeah,
massively criticising Van Dijk for his basic cowardice in terms of on the ball. Which is mad because when you look at Van Dijk, he's probably one of the most risky centre halves in terms of the way in which he plays such a high line, and obviously, but
the only thing I can think of that is that the medical staff have told Van Dijk for the next 12 months you really need to take it easy on heavy tackles on this because you could do it again. So maybe that's just the thing. So you got through all the last season, you got through whatever, but maybe it's like a 12 to 48 months thing. You really have to just like coast as much as you can, defend without actually tackling if you can, as much as you possibly can, just until it gets back more strength. Because he wanted to get back as soon as possible. That's the only reason why you can see where his game is lessened in the tackling. Just like where he used to stretch out and tackle a lot. Now he's kind of trying to course him out a small bit out to the edge. But it's not really cowardice. It's also, it's protecting a career a little bit. But yeah, I think in some ways he does need to step up his game. We know he's been kind of off, but he's had a long season after injury. But that's nasty for them guys to say that he's a coward or anything, because he's definitely not a coward. He's the best centre. Yeah,
you basically referred to it as I think it was Holotor Van Basten said, "Oh, he was like basically a Ballon d'Or nomination, or like he was in the World 11," and I was like, "Where's that player gone?" It's like just saying what we've all said. In all honesty,
he just got like one of the worst injuries you could ever get as a footballer, and he was taken out doing it as well, which is disgusting. And for me, like, he came back and he played a season where we nearly won the quadruple. And, he wasn't probably supposed to play as many games in that season as he should have. And he stepped up to the game. And now it could be a tired Van Dijk as well, Like, I'm never thinking that he just could be tired. He's a fit guy and they're paid professional footballers. But he could also be mentally and physically tired, and just given, 70% is their max at the moment. And that's all they can probably give. So, I don't know.
It's coming from a striker as well, of course, one of the legendary strikers of the game, but wouldn't go about whatever, especially the record in which Van Basten has had in recent years. Absolutely disgusting stuff he said.
It sounds like an ego thing to me, because Van Basten is lauded as one of the best players that ever put on the jersey. And if Van Dijk is spoken the same ilk, and people start forgetting about Van Basten's getting nasty about himself. And now he's thinking, oh, no, I need to put these guys down. They're not in my ilk. And that's an ego thing. He was always egotistical, that fella, anyway.
Definitely. But big up Diogo. It's great to see it in the comments space. Obviously, introducing Kev. If you're new round here, chat, that's usual greeting for Kev by Diogo. But smash that like button on both channel, guys. Big up there, Tom. And obviously, sorry.
I mostly because I want to start going live on TikTok. I mostly need help on TikTok. If you guys can help out, I'd appreciate that.
Oh, so
if you find me, so.
You find me and Kev doing TikTok dances like
if I reach 1,000 go live, we're doing live TikTok TikTok dances, So
probably
do the chicken.
Just be full. The comments will be full of Manx. And chat, a massive thank you to everyone for the great support on obviously the Jude Bellingham video that I done. For some mad reason, very bizarre reason, it blew up and it's got 200,000 views on Facebook alone.
Jesus, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's basically the one that you've seen on YouTube and obviously TikTok, but it's just littered with a load of Manx getting salty about and doubting they're not Manchester City fans as well, because they're like, "Oh, come to Manchester." So I'm guessing.
You finish all of your videos just going, "Thanks for watching 7-0."
Yeah, so
I
did reply to a couple of 7-0s. I just left 7-0. It's beautiful. It's mad how many people like get rattled off just watching the interview. It was just Gerrard.
It's mad how many Manchester United fans think they have a right to talk after the last 10 years that they've had, and they've won, was it a Charity Shield in 7 years or something? Yeah. Or not Charity Shield, what's it called? League Cup in 7 years. Sit down, lads. Just come back to us when you win the league now again and stuff. They're in the bin a long time. Yeah.
But on the
Eric Seven Hag.
Yeah, the bold fraud. Playing for your country gives you more fight and spirit, especially for the likes of Ireland, Scotland, Wales. There's a limited talent. 100% there, Ravens, but I think the more exposed these players are to, as we said, bigger leagues, better competition, I think that would only drive on the bigger nations as well. You look at how historical that great Scotland side was in the 70s as well, in terms of with KANE and obviously legendary players. It's hard, but what have you seen there, lad?
I know. I was looking at Mark's comment about being born a Manc. Yeah.
I'll get to that bit. I can't help being born a Manc days, Max. All good, man. All good. We'll let you know.
He's in the same milk as Michael Owen.
Oh yeah. When is the next gig, Kev?
Thursday we're playing the Crane Lane, and Saturday we're playing the Oliver Plunkett. We've been booked again for Germany next year, which is great. So that's already been.
I'll save up for that.
That'd be good crack. And Yeah, and we've potential actual full tour of Germany as well coming up. There's 3 festivals that want us over there: Czech Republic, Austria as well. So we'll see.
That'll be nice. So
Yeah, we cool crack. Yeah.
See him on Germany's Got Talent next.
Nah, I'm like that. Fast I couldn't get up there now in front of these Egypts, and they're singing in the 4. They're getting famous singing off 4 chords. Baby, baby.
I reckon that could be
Grammy.
Woo. I reckon you should start like a competition on YouTube, especially when the international footy's on, Kev. You'd be a judge, and like we should have a sing-off with all the LFC content channels.
Yeah, I think so.
And that would be fantastic. So you have
I'll be the Anne Robinson of footy channels. You know what I mean? Is that meant to be talent? You know what I mean? What do you say?
That'd be good. But big up there, Mutale. Big up, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. Obviously, following on Facebook as well. So big up to Facebook, massive. Obviously, big up there, Mark. Big up there, Everest. How we doing, mate? Hopefully, the job search is going good, my friends. And massive thank you for tuning in as always, mate. Hope you're well. Kane will never be rated if he stays at Spurs. And
I said exactly the same thing that I said at the start of it. Yeah.
I think that's everyone's favourite comment of the evening, Everest, but he's spot on. We haven't even got on to Lord Harold's, have we?
Loads of time.
Oh, yeah. Don't get to big old day, come. I could be your 10 quid in the post. And call it Dutch Masters, but they're living in the past, 100%. A knee injury ended Van Basten's career at 29. He should probably have more sense. Bro, not a lot of football players in the modern era have brains. As we all know, too old to do TikTok. You're never too old, man. Never too old. Evening, big up there, Philip. Hope you're well, matey. Is Philip watching on your channel? I'm guessing.
He's watching on my channel, yeah, I think so.
Big up there.
I think so. I think there's like link signs when it's my channel and not normal when it's yours, which is cool.
That's cool. Nice. TikTok, hopefully that just spreads out the viewer base for your channel as well.
I think so. Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah.
TikTok answers. Connor will be bringing all the milkshake to the yard if if Jude signs. So that's good. Oh, Jack.
There's a few environmentals adopted and raised by Scousers. That's what I said is, and I don't understand anything bad about my side. You know?
Yeah, no, but Richard Keys. That doesn't surprise me there, Brian. Anyway, but...
I don't mind that fucking idiot.
Yeah,
that's as Irish as you're ever going to see me get. Never mind that fucking idiot.
International spider. There we go. Free transfer. Yeah. Really wants to be doing some signs. We want some signs, but Kev. Let you talk about this story there, really. There you go.
So is that? Which one is that?
Can you see that? The Endika one. Can you see that on your screen?
I can see. I'd have to get in this one to see because it's a small thing. As I Evan Endika is available for a free transfer in the summer after turning down a final contract offer from Eintracht Frankfurt. That has alerted a host of top European clubs, including Liverpool, who have followed the 6'3". Oh, we'll take him. Centre-half since he emerged as a teenager with Auxerre at France youth levels. I think just reading that down, Arsenal and Spurs, they might go into them. So for me, that's probably the kind of quality transfer that we need. Yeah. That will also be okay with sitting on the bench behind Virgin Kanate for a bit, but also has the quality to come on and do something. I don't know who he's going to replace. Maybe Joel Matip is on the way out. What is he, 32 now, 33?
Yeah, I think his contract is running out.
And he's out, yeah. So if it doesn't get renewed and Joe Gomez is in the bin for me this season, he has been great. So I
think he's changed really. I think
he's either bring up a guy in the youth squad now, or maybe we'll move the guys on, but we're going to need from you. I still think we need 2 centre-half signings, to be honest with you. One quality one like that would be nice, and then maybe one with potential, and that'd be good. It's the same, right? We need in the midfield. We can't rely on Thiago too much. He's very Thiago reminds me of Luis Garcia. Has all the talent and ability, but sometimes doesn't turn up for games.
Harry Kewell as well with injuries, mate.
Yeah.
You look at Harry Kewell's career, like it was just decimated.
And he was a massive Liverpool fan as well. So yeah.
Huge Sturridge. But I think, as I said, that'd be a great sign, as you alluded to. I think even if he's half as good as Matip, was he out? Like that's like that. What staggers me the most, mate, and Chaz, about the Matip signing when we signed him from Schalke. We knew he had those injuries, but I think when you look at his market value over the last 3 to 5 years, when he's been fit, for me, I think me and you and every Liverpool fans sing from the same hymn sheet in reality when you speak about Matip. When he's on form, when he's fit, over the last 5 years, I think he's been one of the most consistent centre halves in the whole of Europe. And
he's better than Van Dijk last season.
Yeah, 100%. And if you think about his market value as well, Kev, it could be excess of like 50, 60 million at its peak when he was fit.
Yeah, easily. I mean, there's an opportunity there. Does his contract hold out at the end of this season, or is it next season?
Connor will know. Is it Matip's? When does the chat let us know?
I don't remember seeing him in the list with Milner and them.
Yeah, it's Thiago and Matip run out next year. Yeah.
Well, then it's probably time to cash in on Matip.
Yeah, this season.
I think we can get 25 million and rising with add-ons for some. Do you know Matip would probably be a good buy for Newcastle?
Yeah.
Yeah, or some place like that, or is some team that's ambitious enough, or he could go back to Germany maybe. But I think it's a good show to. If we want to get the money, you'll probably sell him to a team like Newcastle, or maybe he could go down the line, go to PSG. He's well capable of going there. I'm trying to think where else he go. I love Joel. I love Joel. So no, he's not going to go to the EF. Are you kidding me?
Agent Matip send him down even. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Indicate on the 3 years of brilliant. That'll be fantastic if it is.
We should be all over this transfer if it's true, but you never know. But
6'3", young,
French
fits the ilk of. And no offense, I think that it's also a good back. He'd be a good backup for Van Dijk. It's not Kanate he's coming in to play with. Just think of it this way: with where he plays and stuff, he's coming in to challenge Van Dijk, really, and that side and to push Van Dijk, and that's what Virgil needs, to be honest with you.
I think he can play in a variety of positions as well. Down the left-hand side, I think
he can.
I think he can play left back potentially as well. So options, as long as he comes in, is fit. I think the availability is probably the main thing, really, of any player there, Kev. When you look at Jude, we just want fit players. In all honesty,
he's at entry 5 right now. He's on 30 grand a week.
Yeah,
he's not on anything more than that maximum. I'd say he's on that. If he comes to Liverpool, he'll be hitting 110k a week for his first season. It'll rise, and if he has a great season or he keeps his place, he'll be rising to 160, 180,000. By the time he hits his renewal of contract, he could be sitting there on 200k. So to 220. So I mean, that's it's career spanning for him. He should really go to a place like Liverpool rather than elsewhere, because with a manager with a manager like Klopp, he'll make you world class. Whereas with the other type of Tottenham were just, and Arteta's getting away with more this season because of the drop off of Liverpool and Man City. To be honest with you, I think he's done a good job there. He has, but I still think it's because there's a massive drop off from Man City, Liverpool. I think the only people that have raised the game, I don't even think United have raised their game really. I think they've stayed the same. And just benefited from everybody else dropping off, similar to the season that we ended up finishing. Was it third? I think it's a very similar season to that, and I think Spurs have been a bit crap. Chelsea have been a bit crap, but they're starting to get a bit of form. But Newcastle have probably improved in the last couple of seasons. They have improved massively, obviously. But and Brighton are a team that's massively improved.
If we can't get Champions League, I'm hoping Brighton somehow sneak in there, because I'd love I don't think the majority of football fans would love to see Brighton in there. It was mad when we seen Leicester in the Champions League a couple of years ago, obviously when they won the league and obviously their adventures. And I think they beat Sevilla away from home as well, and they beat a couple of teams. So big up there, and to be in the comments.
I still think Champions League is for us, man. There's literally with the games in hand, there's a point in it. Brighton are our only test, and Brighton have never challenged for the Champions League ever. And with these kind of games, they can lose the head a bit in the last 8 games, the 5 to 8 games, and you can see them getting a couple of draws or if they go up against teams that are like what happened to us with Bournemouth and the likes of this, they go up against these teams and just lose a couple of these in a row because they're battling for their lives down there. Yeah. So, yeah, for me, it's once we get past these next 3 games, I think it's a good run for us. Yeah, get down, really get down to business. Take 5 points from these next 3 games. 7 would be beautiful. 9 would be amazing, but take these points, get a minimum of 5, and I think we're good to go for the rest of the season.
I'd agree, Kevin. Chat. We're getting 9 because it's the Liverpool way.
It's 9. Yeah, I want 9. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So. We'll beat them, and then we'll go to Leeds and get beat
again. Yeah,
it's in our DNA as a football club. We'll keep on getting your comments as well, chat. We'll obviously speak a little bit about one. Obviously, anything that you really want me and Kev to discuss. Got any questions? Drop them in. Just have a little gander before we do shoot off. Still got quite a fair while anyway.
Yeah.
No rush. But as Bryce said there, the Harry Kewell transfer broke my heart. He was phenomenal at Leeds, but ruined when we got him. Yeah, that Leeds side. Was it Viduka? Yeah, the young Milner as well. I don't know if he was there at the time. Apologies if it was. But yeah, it had Kewell. So many great players. Tipping on obviously European adventure as well, but obviously it was just a bit before me time, but I've seen all documentaries and everything. But Kevin, can you think of any great Leeds players at that time in terms of the Harry Kewell era?
When he was down there, Jesus, Alan Smith, he went to United. Mark Viduka was there just before that. You had Lee Bowyer was in there. Jonathan Woodgate. Michael Bridges was there at that time. You had, I'm trying to think, who was the goalkeeper? Was that the man?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Came to us. I think that was the man that came to us afterwards, wasn't it? Eventually. Well, it's in Leeds in those days. Geez, that was a phenomenal time. That I was living in Leeds around that area as well, so I was over there at that stage. And
it showed the quality in that squad, though, right? At that time, and it is going to be mad, especially in the next 5-10 years. Well, the more football does progress, do you anticipate a lot more injuries? Because you do look at
Ferdinand, Gary Kelly. So they're all happening. Nigel Martin, I think, was there. They're all popping into my head now as they're coming back.
Yeah. Gary Kelly, yeah, there we go. So many bloody mad names, early. But yeah, chat, let us know. Do you anticipate obviously a lot more injuries? There will be, of course, case studies on the next couple of years, given the sheer amount of international games as well. I think, was it Arteta come out this year and spoke about, players need a rest, or basically said what Jurgen Klopp has been saying for the best part of the last couple of years, Kev. And
yes.
No one really got down Arteta's neck, but because it was Jurgen Klopp a couple of years ago, do you give him murder?
He's only speaking the truth. Some of these useless, what do they call games? What's they called? Something friend? What are they called? I don't even know. National League, whatever the hell they are. Just waste the bloody time, man. Just get rid of that and just make it about the championship. Don't make it too complicated. Stop making it easier for teams that don't have elite players in elite leagues battling for elite competitions, but just to give them a placement. If anything, take that National League and put it to the side and just make a placement for all of these teams in the actual final competition, and then give it, instead of having all 8 groups or whatever it is, and one of them gets an extra place, take that extra place away and give it to a league full of the lower seeded world teams and let them battle it out for that kind of position, like a mini final, and then that gives them a place to go to that, and then the rest of the seeded teams that are above a certain seed level will battle it out in the rest of the groups. I think that's the easiest way to do things, and it stops giving extra games to elite level players, which they don't need to be doing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what Chris said there is spot on. I think we more or less said that. Scrap the EPL, just have the Premier League, FA Cup, and UEFA Champions League. So it's a great point, that, Chris, innit? And it will be, surely that's be doing that, Kev. As you just alluded to there, I think there's no way you squeeze more from these players. They're already on the literally tipping point, in all honesty.
I'd scrap the Nations League before I scrap the EFL Cup, because with the EFL Cup, you have to remember most of the kids get a run out in that. So if it's not really the first team, so I would give the kid. It's a good place to have the kids get a run out, but when it does get to the nitty gritty and the end of the competition, then you're going to start seeing the big players play the last 2 or 3 games, which is probably an extra 2 or 3 games. But I would get rid of the Nations League first and just.
I think England's the only league in European football, well, in world football, that has two national trophies, and it's a bit bad, but that just shows the Premier League and the money really involved. But just believe we get big up there, Chris. Hopefully, mate.
I think we will as well.
Still believe till the last kick anyway. We'll be doing our watch-alongs. And this
Luis Diaz is back. Darwin Núñez will be back. Everybody's going to be fit to the rest of the season, hopefully. I can't see where we can't get top 4. We're still Liverpool. Even if we're tired, a tired Liverpool is still better than most of those teams from third downwards.
I was just thinking, Kev, this would be handy for doing duo live streams.
Yeah.
So the world's your oyster, really, in terms of. Or we have the choice of us getting Mount, and I know Chris is not the biggest fan. I'm a fan of Mount, as you know, anyway, chat. Once
under Klopp, could be a different gravy. Yeah.
Yeah, I want our old badge back restored. Yeah, we had. What's your favourite one, Kev? For me, I like the one in the 70s and 80s where it's just the classic Liver Bird. I think we did change back to, obviously, the gold Liver Bird. I don't know, we haven't currently got that, have we? I think.
I'm looking down at my chest because I'm always wearing a jersey, so I was looking down to see if he was there. No, I think it's been more gold lately these days, and it's been it was white at some points. Sometimes even I think some of the ones in the late 70s, early 80s had a bigger Liver Bird head. I wasn't too much of a fan of that, but it did look good on the badge. I didn't mind it, and I do like the kind of the classic crest of the bird just inside in the shield a bit. I'm kind of a fan of that one. I think that it was a bit too. I think the big main crest was a bit too much in the late 2000s or late 90s or the 2000s when it was just all, the whole badge on there, and it was always poking me in the nipple. It was so much stuff having to go on there. I do like the simplicity of the bird on there, but I do think I'd like to see some of the gates back and around the bird, and maybe have it that way, just nice and simplistic. A nice little redesign would be nice as well.
Yeah, hopefully, you never know. Well, if actually Nike do actually get their act together, I think they're deliberately, purposely releasing awful kits just so in the next couple of years they can boost up the profits. In all honesty, once the back end of their contracts up, that's when they'll start producing decent kits. Sadly,
I still want to do this back.
Yeah,
no matter what they did to us, but they're going to pay for it this time. If they want to come back to Liverpool for ending that contract early, they're going to pay big money for this deal.
Yes, still loads of points up for grabs, defo. I just don't agree with the internal flames on the back. It's the new kit designs. I think obviously was the Pays, obviously a homage to Bob Paisley as well, and obviously Shankly in the kits, but. Anyone seen more of Nagelsmann? Seen the Mane and Nagelsmann? No, we haven't, Con. I was going to say, I thought, in relation to Chris. Yeah, Chris, if you can refer to, obviously, Kev, obviously with his name, please, mate. Obviously, Spider will be much appreciated. But yeah,
obviously, Irishman, exactly. I'm proud to be an Irishman. I'm glad.
Sorry, Miss Patterson.
Totally happy.
There we go. Get him. It's basically what Connor's alluding to in that story of not seeing a chat tonight. The amount of abuse that man is getting from Bayern Munich is absolutely disgraceful, in all honesty. Whether that's be getting generated from the board level or in terms of the fan base anyway, in terms of supposedly the rumour coming out tonight, or the story that was generated, was Mane basically in the Champions League leg against Paris Saint-Germain basically stood up in the changing room and had a go at Nagelsmann.
Okay, I'm looking at it here now.
That's not in Mane's character at all, is it?
No, in his own way. Let's call it a spade. Mane is capable of having a tantrum. He's done it a few times at Liverpool. I just think that I think Klopp was really a big dad figure over most of when he listened. I remember that time when Salah didn't pass to him and he threw a wobbler and went off on the bench, but he was...
A classic Firmino. Meme.
Yeah. So, look, he's capable of it, but he'll only do it if it's an important reason behind it. So he must have done something stupid or something disrespectful to be able to unleash Mane, because he doesn't go unleashed unless there's something happens. I think Salah apologised to him about 3 times after that, not passing to him that time. and then they became buddies again, and everything was grand. But I have no problem if he's not happy with Munich. Come back, man. If you want, the door's always up. Nah, that ship is sailed. But like, I'm not one of these guys. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with him there. So apparently they had a big fight. As I'm looking at the Bavarian football works. I was only over there last week. I could have taken him out for an old coffee and said, man, what's going on? Like, you all right, buddy?
Wine
so
and dine.
I'm over there in July. I might bump into him. I'll see.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So it will be interesting, Connor. I think if that was the case, but I highly doubt it, Con, in relation to that story. It's, journalists, and we all know journalists, they come up with absolute nonsense, massive clickbait merchants. There's a good journalist out there, but I think that's just another one of them anyway, in relation. But isn't a young lad lined up for Mane?
He's trying to make him a scapegoat for being an egotistical player that was just angry about being substituted on for PSG game, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very strange, isn't it? But in terms of try and get the Harry Kane.
This fella.
Oh, yeah, we'll speak about obviously this one. Sorry there, chap, before we go on to Harry Kane. How important is this lad going to be for us, mate, in terms of the next couple of weeks? For me, I think we've massively missed him. Yeah, it's so important to the way Liverpool play. And I think the way in which Liverpool have struggled this season, especially in the key moments, it's all right having forward attackers, but it's one thing in terms of transition and that. But I think he's been one of the massive sparks that Liverpool have been missing fundamentally in our game this season.
Yeah, I don't know what Klopp's going to do about him because he's been playing Darwin on the left most of the season. But ideally, you want to see Gakpo, Nunez, Diaz, and Salah on that pitch at all times. For me, even if Bobby's there to back up and Jota's there to back up, you're going to be seeing these guys. So maybe you're going to see Gakpo being utilised more on that left-hand side of midfield, but in a more attacking role, and probably helping out Robbo a bit more. Maybe that's a role that he could take up himself, because he's better when he's driving at people. As we've seen, he's got a turn of pace in his stride rather than just being pacey, and he can just dance between a couple of players and just open up the. I think just Diaz hanging on that left-hand side is just going to open up a world of goals for Darwin when he's available. And Diaz cutting back inside is far more dangerous on that right foot, shooting from that side, than what Darwin is. Darwin's better when he's in the box, nicking a goal from 6 yards out, or clipping a header. Or we've seen him against United. He gets in great positions when he needs to be, Nunez, and he can get a hatful of goals without making too much of an effort when Diaz is back in the team, because he'll just spread. Him and Salah should be able to spread that team and then compact it when we need to. So yeah, we said Darwin is a nuisance. This fella he's torrential rain. He's a full on whirlwind when he gets going like Diaz. He can just open up an entire team. I'm delighted to have him back, man. I'm smiling from ear to ear. I get to wear my Diaz jersey again.
Get him on. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's really positive, especially it's the main thing, as we said. I don't want us to rush him back. I know I was watching Connor's episode before, and he was saying, obviously, we don't want to be put into a position, but at the minute, the way Liverpool have been playing, hopefully when he does come in the next couple of weeks, he comes into a side that's performing well. I think, would you say, Kev, it's a lot more easy for a player to very much transition into a team that is playing its most elite level, really, in terms of whether that be you're coming back from in terms of a bad spell of form, or whether that be an injury as Lewis is coming back into, mate. But yeah, do you think it'll be easy for him, there, mate? Sorry.
I think so. I mean, it was easier for him to start in the middle of a league campaign when he first started for us, coming in January, and then just hitting the ground running. And he was the best player in the league for that 6-month period, finishing off the league, and helped us to drive on to go for that quadruple and whatnot. So look, I'm just happy. I'm happy he's back, man. For me, he became such an important player for us. He became undroppable at certain stages there since he signed for us. So, yeah, let him come back. Let him let's just let him run at people. Just let him run at people. Let people do, let him take him on. Sometimes the ball looks like he's stuck to his feet and he doesn't look like he's going to do anything with it. And all of a sudden it's like glue stuck to him when he's driving it into the bottom corner of the goal. You can see that goal that he did against Spurs as how important he is to the team. When we're having a bad spell. So,
sorry, there, man. Yeah, I am listening. I'm just there. Just throwing out Ravens.
I'm talking to everybody else on here, Jack. You're good.
Carry on, man.
So Diaz, super important, muy importante, as they say, and look, him coming back is is the best boost that Liverpool could get right now, especially after the last result, and we've had this break, and hopefully they've worked on some different strategies, even if it's a developing strategy that moves into next season as well. It was probably the perfect time in having this break to start it and get the mindsets ready for the guys going through to the summer, because you're going to have the end of the season, then you're going to have the break a bit, then they're not going to be back until mid-July, I'd say, around the 7th to the 10th, and then you're going to have the fixtures coming out around the 4th. Well, that'd be like the 14th of June, isn't it? You normally get that.
Yeah,
so they'll know what's coming by the time they come back, which is great. So we'll see.
Will be interesting. There we go. No worries. All good, Eamons. All good. As I said, hope you're not going to leave us, lad. No, all good. As I said, I know it is a bit awkward in terms of, especially if you're not used to like modern and all that, mate. But massive thank you for what you did do as well, mate. But yeah, as we said, let us know your thoughts on Luis Diaz as well. But we'll move on to the final one, really. It's only the closing point, really. Wanted to speak about Harry Kane. Just quickly, we'll speak about, obviously, James McLean, a bit of a journey. I thought it was a very good story of his to speak about in terms of what it relates to. James McLean, a bit of a journey, Republic of Ireland and Wigan player, reveals he is autistic. And it just goes on to say, obviously, it is this week, I think it is anyway, Autism Awareness Week anyway. And obviously, with my history in terms, obviously, having a lot of close mates, obviously my good mate Andrew, and everyone. Obviously, my background is disability as well, so I know a lot of amazing people I know have got disabilities, and I've got disabilities as well. So it's about spreading good awareness, really, and just making people feel normal, especially in today's society that we do live in. But I just thought it would be interesting, a little story in relation to the BBC's website.
It's a bit close to my heart as well, Jack. Being that my daughter's on the spectrum, and and my son is missing chromosome 10, so he's got my learning disability. And he, up until like a few weeks ago, he was walking with a full K walker, but now the orthotics are starting to work. So he wears these like shells going up his leg that shape his leg. That explains.
As well.
So he's wearing them now, and he's starting to walk really well with them. Although it's he's like maybe like a funny running puppet, as I call him, and he's happy out too because he's able to run around. So it's one of these things. I mean, autistic is a different thing for me. I think it's how the world changes around you. It's how you see a lot more autism developing. I think I do think it's as technology grows and as different radiations grow, it changes. How people are developed in the womb and stuff. I do believe that kind of stuff.
The world's a lot more aware now, which is good.
It is, yeah. And I also believe that autism is a form of evolution, to be honest with you. And I think we're forever changing, and you're going to see people changing as they go on. And it's a wonderful cause. Autism Week, it really is.
Yeah. But in terms of obviously what it goes on to say, the 38-year-old who was captured by 98 times by his country shares his diagnosis on his Instagram account. McLean goes on to add his daughter is obviously autistic, and the diagnosis led McLean to undergo an autism spectrum disorder ASD assessment. It has been a bit of a journey, McLean goes on to add, and now having a diagnosis, I feel it's time to share it. As he highlighted a statement that he went public with his diagnosis in order to support his daughter. As you all know, my daughter is autistic. McLean wrote on his Instagram, the last 4 years have been life-changing in the most amazing way, but it also very difficult at times, as her daddy watching her overcome so many obstacles in her life and learning how to manage the challenges she faces on a daily basis. the more Erin and I, obviously McLean's wife, and I learn about her autism, the more we begun to recognise it is a very similar to Willow in more ways than we thought. Than he, obviously McLean was more similar to his daughter. I see so many small traits in her that I see in myself. So I decided to go and get an assessment. I have debated for a while going public and sharing this, as I've done this with Willow, to let her know as I am understanding and being autistic won't and should never hold her back for reaching her goals and dreams, and nor should it anyone out there as well, whatever disability you have or difficulty, you're obviously the support is there, and obviously we all look after one another, and that's how the world should be. But obviously big up there James McLean and his obviously daughter Willow, and well, it's really interesting.
It explains a lot as well, you know, because he's a very passionate man, and he has been. And there's a fine line between, you know, passion and then over speaking and stuff sometimes. And he's very outspoken in his beliefs and what he's into, what he's not into. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with what he's saying now. So yeah, it explains a lot for me as well. So yeah. But fair dues to him, fair dues to the lad coming out. As he come out as the first artist footballer, maybe professional footballer at elite level, maybe.
Yeah, so, I'm guessing so. Not 100% on that, but yeah, big up there, McLean. But let's get to everyone's comments as well. See, Evening on Monday reported a loss of 2 minutes. The loss was a whopping, even though we say players have big money, Chelsea have to sell players this summer. It's going to be interesting there, Matthias, but yeah, especially if they don't get European competition, mate, as well this season will be very interesting. The previous year, Spencer reported, that's what we're up to. That's what we're up against, Matthias, as we all know, but hopefully you never know. I think there was a Richard Masters. I don't know if you've seen it today, chat, if you're not aware. I think he was asked by like a panel of like, I don't know if he was asked by basically a government panel, and whether they were speaking about the ownership of Newcastle and what happens, but supposedly couldn't comment at this minute because I think by the looks of it, Newcastle might be getting investigated again still. Not really can try and get investments to float them. A lot of people don't know they are on the spectrum until their 30s. That's true, Eamons. 100%, mate. You never meet a prouder Irishman than James McLean. You're big up there, mate. Yes, really, clubs only lose 150 in the last 3 seasons without the rules, and then things don't look good. For Chelsea, well done to Scotland, boss.
Oh, they're definitely getting investigated next after City. Like they've already been done a few seasons ago, but they'll get done over the last 3 or 4 years as well. And Bowley will be in charge about 3 years, and then they'll get investigated.
Yeah, and we'll conclude on this chat anyway. Hopefully we get a couple of Tottenham fans in, and they come in absolutely rattled. But big up there ends as well, mate.
Tottenham ends.
Big up, matey. Definitely get you on the channel soon, mate. And obviously the lads done. I was watching your stream yesterday, lads. Obviously I've been quite busy with. But mods, if you can drop in, of course, ends' channel link in there, and hopefully ends. I'm pretty sure ends will be over 500 subscribers. But if he isn't, please do head over and show your support to Ensman's TV anyway. Pick up there, Russ. And Russ, you've turned up at the perfect time.
Yeah.
It's almost like your time's this, Russ, just to slag off Harry Kane. And chat, obviously, the final concluding story. I'll pose this question to you and Kev and everyone. Is Harry Kane overrated? For me, it's probably going to be quite controversial, but I think it is. I think, especially in that England system. You look at the likes of Michael Owen, Ballon d'Or winner, Wayne Rooney, serial Premier League winner, and what he done for Manchester United and, of course, England. For me, it's not a comparison that should, of course, he's broke the record, but I think Wayne Rooney's levels above Harry Kane.
Yeah, on the ball. Harry Kane is a goal scorer, and he can do it when he's in the right positions. I think you go back to peak Harry Kane a couple of seasons ago when he was tracking back an awful lot, winning the ball, becoming almost like a false 10 in a way, if you want to call it that. So not even really a false 10. He was dropping so deep. So yeah, look, there's certain aspects about his game that are great. I just think that they've been kind of knocked on the head a bit with him staying at Spurs. I think that after the champion, I think he should have gotten out after the Champions League final against Liverpool. I think then, or maybe a season later, he should have left. And I think Spurs need an overhaul of their front line. Harry Kane's always going to be a goal scorer, but for him personally, to get any personal joy, he needs to leave. And Son is probably in the same page as well. Be a legend at Spurs, but not in the same page as in he's world class for me, Son. And I think he needs to leave Spurs to win anything. Really, I really do. And I think that they're wasted at Spurs the way Spurs is right now. They were always almost men.
Yeah.
Whereas, Arsenal have taken the next step this season because Arsenal were in that bracket as well where they were the almost men. They could get there and just never get any further. And then they dropped off a bit. Spurs became the better side and they were going up there. And then you had Arsenal dropping off a bit and Spurs dropping off a bit. Now Arsenal are up there on top of the league and go on and win the league this season. But yeah, I know for me, man, it's
massively overrated.
I think, yeah, well, and they say overrated. He was good when he was played he was good under Pochettino. He was fantastic under Pochettino. He's played a certain way, but he's overrated or just under managers since then.
Yeah.
I
think if you take away Harry Kane's goals against all the plumbers, no respect, but like the lesser nations really in terms of. Like you look at Wayne Rooney, the big goals in which he scored. I think I've seen a statistic this week. I think you look at the teams he scored. I think he's scored 4 against was it last World Cup? Not this one just gone, but the one before that he scored 4 goals. So they're all penalties really. I think the open goals Rooney scored to Bowen as well. And obviously how important Lineker was as well back in the day. But I think I
think maybe as an England player he's overrated. I think maybe for Spurs he's probably been the best player in history, maybe because what he's done there.
Good,
But for England, he's over. He's just not hit it on the world stage, really, has he? In the year that you were getting to the final, was he top goal scorer in that tournament? Was that the only tournament that he actually did well in? Or was it and then every other one he hasn't done so well in? But I mean, Ronaldo and Messi were guilty of that internationally as well, for a long time. But he's still not nowhere near the ilk of them two. So I don't know. He's overrated. I just think he's underutilized, Harry Kane, in certain aspects of his game. But yeah, for England, overrated. For Spurs, probably one of the best players in history.
Yeah. So. The only trophy you probably will win will be the highest scored at the Tottenham. Definitely not winning anything with England. Say that now.
Yeah, he needs to leave. He needs to leave now and go. And it wouldn't surprise me if a team like Newcastle came in for him.
Yeah, I'd be.
If there are ambitions and Spurs want to make money, Newcastle will come in and spend 90 million on him easily.
Yeah, just see what. Really, just see what Mark said. Brian thinks never. Come on, lads. We all know the truth. England plays massively overrated.
Yeah.
Kane would suit, as Eamon said there. He would.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would.
Even the good one. Don't play golf with Gary Neville. No, don't. Wouldn't even step near Gary Neville anyway. It probably despised me. It just aired my scalp.
I was playing last Saturday night in Scholes. He was across the road, and because we were in one venue, he was over doing the thing in another venue, and one of the lads told me inside in the pub that he was actually at the event over, and then I spotted him afterwards, and I was loading the van. And I just shot around the corner. I stuffed around the van, just it's an awful smell of toes. And then I went back to the van, so yeah. And there was a big debate as well, this big. I'm just going to step over the 2-piece. Everybody keeps having this debate about, Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes right now. That Scholes introduction has only happened in the last 6 years, right? When Scholes was at United, nobody ever spoke about this, but everybody spoke about Lampard and Gerrard. After he left United and retired, United realised they had no midfielders to talk about in the ilk of Gerrard and Lampard, so they started bigging up Paul Scholes all the time. But then you go to the individual things, and they're like, Paul Scholes won the league with this, won the league with that. Teams win leagues. Teams win trophies, not individual players. whereas Lampard and Gerrard were both on player or team of the year in the World 11. They were both top 3. Well, Gerrard was top 3 in Ballon d'Or. You know, Scholes didn't even get his own teams.
It's an impossible debate as well, though, mate.
Yeah.
Him and Gerrard and Lampard and Gerrard are quite similar in terms of the goals, what they've done in the team. But Scholes is a completely different type of player altogether, especially midfielders as well.
Yeah, but he was playing in a similar position to them, but then Ferguson tried to replace him with Varane, and then he moved him into a central defensive midfield role, and then, you know, around the same time he tried to replace him with Gerrard as well. So it makes no sense. This debate, Scholes is not there. Scholes is probably Scholes is in there with the best of the next bunch, but it's Gerrard and Lamps are the ones that are up there. You know, I mean, I'd rate Vieira over I'd rate Scholes. You know, or these kind of people. I'm
trying to get a comparison.
De Bruyne is up there over Scholes as well for me.
Like multi-billionaires, and who's got the better flat screen TV?
Yeah,
it's like it probably does exactly the same thing. It's probably the same model, but yeah, no, they're great. But obviously, I was speaking to Brian. Obviously, probably in the chat with me and Connor and Connor's Discords in a Cop Council. Obviously, I think you were working. A couple of your mates were working, serving a couple of the Manchester lot last week, weren't they? So obviously, I know a couple of you working hospitality. Big up there, mate. I think so. There we go. We started something now. If Harry Maguire was French, he wouldn't even have under 21 cap. That's true, Brian. That's true.
What do you mean?
Probably get his sister to play centre half or something. Liverpool followed. Yes, Matthias, obviously, we're just tuning in now, mate. Obviously, you can be blind. Yeah, we'll see.
Is that Matthias? The same Matthias that comes into the chat?
Yeah.
The same one, okay.
Yeah, all good. That's what we were looking at, matey. Obviously, we just tuned in now, mate. We did discuss that. So you can rewind there, mate, and obviously just let us know your thoughts on that before we do shoot off, mate. But yeah, we talked about that. Bringing a FIFA players would be good. Just depends on the wages they want. In Limerick Spire today, we're staying in my mate. Oh, that was what I was referring to. In my mate's hotel in Ain.
Scores and butt. Sucking the toes off each other.
Allegedly.
Yeah, lads, if you just joined us, I was gigging in town last week, and I was loading the van with the guys when we finished the gig. And Scholes, he was coming out of the old local across the way, and I thought, I was like, there's an awful smell of toes. And he looked back. So that was it, you know. And I just laughed and walked in, but I was sitting there like in a full Dickie Bode suit with like stretchy jean pants and Converse boots. So he was just looked and said, "All right, this guy's a character."
Yeah, get your toes out for Paul Scholes, well, looks like, boys. Some fans Hendo was better captain than Gerrard, so we disagree. What do you guys think? Big up there, Birds. Good to see it in the comments, mate.
Well, Hendo's obviously been more successful now as a captain when it comes to bigger trophies. Like Gerrard he never won the league, but he won the Champions League, obviously. But Gerrard is Liverpool's all-time best player. I mean, you can't get past that. He's also our best captain. There's nobody gave it all on the pitch. I think Hendo is a good follow-on from Gerrard. I think he picked a great captain to follow on, but Gerrard will always be the best captain in history. But Hendo has done him proud as well. It's just with him being Scouse and that.
Would you say, quick one, Kev, would you say Gerrard or Hendo was better captain? For me, I'd say Gerrard was a better captain than Hendo.
I would, yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
The way I'd say and analyse it would be, if you put Hendo in Gerrard's team, would he carry that squad? He wouldn't. So if you put Gerrard in that Liverpool squad over the last 5 years, I think Liverpool have come away with more than just one Premier League title.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the difference. But that's just ability alone. Yeah. You know, Gerrard. This is why Gerrard is the greatest Premier League midfielder that's ever lived, pretty much in the game for me. So you know, this is why Zidane, Figo, all of these world class stars spoke about Gerrard. Not one of them ever mentioned Paul Scholes, if they even remembered who he was. They probably kept mistaking him for Nicky Butt all the time. You know, so that's the whole point. Like, this is why you don't get this debate. Nobody in world football knew who Paul Scholes was most of the time. You know, and but they were always talking about Gerrard. So
Paul Toes
for me, Paul Toes. That's good.
Just keep on calling Paul. Don't refer to him anyway.
Paul Toes, yeah. Nobody knows who Paul Toes is. Yeah, we just
some people claim subscriptions for toes.
They do, yeah. I was actually thinking to do that as a side hustle on the side, Jack. I have lovely toes.
Might have
And I was thinking
to.
about just no face, no that, and just put up a set of toes, and let the
Might
old
get a subscription from Manchester. Probably a couple.
Manchester and a few middle-aged overweight Yanks. So yeah, I'd make a fortune, man. So
paint your toes there, Chas. So.
Just put smiley faces on my nails. You know what I mean? Just make a little story out of them. Today's story is Paul Toes went to the shop.
What a great assist by Paul Toes.
Oh, Jack, you've got me going on, man. I'm going to create a Twitter account and I'm just going to put a ginger bit of hair on the top of my toe. I call myself Paul Toes and just make random statements. That's going to be. I've given it away now. Everybody's going to know it's me if they watch this.
Chat will keep it quiet. Sounds all good.
Lads, I have scenarios going in my head right now. I want to laugh so much.
We are past the watersheds anyway.
Yeah, it's just I'm just not illegal talking about toes, but still. Well, yeah.
But yeah, I think that.
So we went from talking about Hendo and Jared as captain to Paul Toes, so that's the tangent we're on tonight.
Hopefully that answers your question there, Bird. I
love Dennis Irwin for Ireland, man. I hated the fact that he was at United as well.
Was he a left back or a right back?
He was right back.
Right
back.
Yeah. My opinion, Kane is overrated and he's not even the best player for Spurs in their history because I was Greavesy, not that I can remember him as a player, but he's
the idealist as well, I suppose.
Player in their history.
Or maybe I'm thinking forward, like maybe I'm just kind of going a little bit forward, but yeah.
It depends how you.
Gaza was there as well, so Gaza was obviously better than him, but I should have said forward really.
Ginola was that Newcastle, won he? Or was he?
And Spurs, yeah. Ginola was phenomenal at Newcastle, man. He was at Spurs as well.
Yeah, so it depends
on Spurs his later career, but he was phenomenal at Newcastle.
Spider only toes. Yeah, there you go. That's a new YouTube channel. There we go, Chaz. Sorry for anyone that's just tuned in. Yeah, we're just going in a bit of a tangent. Rafa was right about Gerrard, though. His best season was when he put him on the right-hand side. He didn't have the technical discipline the modern coaches demand. He was a phenomenal player, though. I think he eventually got that, though, Bride, didn't he? In terms of developing, really. Hendo was maybe not Gerrard, obviously, but he seems to be the most prolific captain in the Premier League. And when he comes to the important matters, he seems to be a captain of captains in the Premier League.
He does, yeah. A lot of people listen to him in the captains meetings every season, and he's very well respected as a captain. So, but it's still, it's like looking at the fact that you've Gerrard as the previous captain before you. Hendo's done so well in that fact. You just have to look at David Moyes, Jose Mourinho, all of these guys that followed Sir Alex Ferguson in United, and that's the same kind of situational presence you've got. You're following somebody's footsteps there. That was just phenomenal for a club, and and Hendo's done himself proud as a captain for us so far. So I'm delighted he was captain.
Yeah, Mr. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I'm zooming in there. Wrong one. There we go. Let me see, Stevie. I don't know if you did chat. If you managed to go to Legend game, what was it like? Because obviously I didn't go to the Legends game, just gone. I went with my dad on the Barca game. Obviously I'd done a little vlog on the channel then, a couple of months ago anyway, before the season started. And Gerrard scored a penalty then.
Speaking of which, I got a note as well. My dream has come true after about 30 years. I'm finally getting a season ticket for Anfield, but it's in the corporate box. And I'm signing a 5-year contract, which I did last Friday. So I'm going to be going over. Me and another bunch of lads have gone into it, and I'm not going to say who. And Jack's going to be going to games with me.
I'll be able to, if I'm not going to games, I'll be able to see Kevin. We'll do content probably. A lot more regular then.
Every 3 weeks or so. So I'll be over in Liverpool every 3 weeks again, because I haven't been able to go over since before the pandemic. And I used to go over, I've been to 281 games, and I'll tell you that's a lot since 1985, 86. So and I used to live in Leeds, so I used to pop up and down the train all the time whenever I could get a chance. So for me, it's a dream come true for me. So I'm going to head over there at least a few times. Well, I'll get at least a minimum of 6 games a season out of it anyway with the group of lads that I'm going with. So which is great. And it's all Champions League because we're going to be there. We're going to the Champions League, all FA Cup, all League Cup games, and I'll be going to a lot of midweek games because I sing on the weekends. So yeah.
Yes. When the team are crap, Gerrard was still. Yeah, it's the thing, Bird, isn't it? And we all know. Like, we watched that period, the best part of like 20 years, wasn't it? That Liverpool were shocking, really. And you look at what Gerrard was doing on a week-to-week basis. Yeah, he did have the odd season where he had Mascherano, Torres, and obviously a lot more sprinkled in quality here and there. But Gerrard, when he got to that maturity, he just basically carried poor teams on his back as well. And I just wish we had him now to tell you what he would have done in that Liverpool team. But it's like everything. It has its cycle. And hopefully Liverpool in the next 5-10 year periods, of course, we're hopefully going to be signing Jude, but if we can produce a cheaper Gerrard or a Steven Gerrard, they are once every probably 20 years a player that I think we were all blessed, would you say, Kev, that we lived in an era when you had the likes of Gerrard, Lampard, great.
They were all, that was like the era. That was in that 15-year period. It was just a period of midfielders, really, wasn't it? If you couldn't think of it, there was only a handful of world-class kind of strikers out there at the time. But there was a lot of quality midfielders battling, and it made games so much more appealing to watch. So yeah, like those kind of eras are gone. We've been blessed as well with every kind of generational talent getting in midfielders. We had Barnes, and then we had Gerrard. When you're talking of this ilk, and then we were blessed even with Steve McManaman before he left. He was fantastic for us before he left, and then moved on to Hendo. And Hendo's been a different type of player, but a phenomenal captain. And most of the time, I don't think the team would have done as well if it didn't have him as a captain.
Would you say post Terry and Rio era, apart from obviously Virgil van Dijk, and obviously Vincent Kompany, and I'm thinking Premier League in terms of having great centre halves.
Yeah,
and I mean great. Van Dijk's probably the only great centre half along with Vinny Kompany. But I mean, like post Rio and Terry, just that era of just
it's very quiet.
Quite quiet for me in terms of when you look at the centre back at the minute. In terms of when you analyse the centre back position, I don't think there's a plethora really of top elite level centre halves.
I think so. I think KANE has got the potential, and I think we got one of the best potential ones there. I think Upamecano had the potential, but I think KANE is a better player than Upamecano. And I think we made the right choice there. As you said, the lad willing now these type of players, there's all potential there for them, but they need stability within the club. A lot of these guys that had really good careers in the defence in these teams had stable managers in there. Jose Mourinho was there for Terry. Fergie was there for Ferdinand. For a long period of time. Sol Campbell at Arsenal. What's his name? You'd Martin Keown, all of these kind of guys that were there. They all had stable managers at the time for long periods. Jurgen Klopp now has Virgil van Dijk and KANE. And I just think, look, another 5 years down the line, we could be talking about KANE and Virgil being two of the best centre halves that ever lived as well, hopefully. And then whoever comes in and whoever challenges, it doesn't really matter. But right now, like in the last, I don't know how many years since the end of Terry and all of them, Virgil van Dijk is definitely the best defender.
Even when you look at
like a country mile.
Yeah, like some Maldini and everything. Kompany, probably not one that went under the radar, but I think he deserves a lot more credit for what he done, especially obviously, he brought in Diaz and Laporte and that, but Kompany was next level, really.
Yeah, no, Kompany was their best defender by a country mile in their era.
Yeah, considering Hendo does not play that much and he doesn't seem to can play more than one game a week at best, should Liverpool team potentially there, Matthias, but I don't think we will, mate. I
think it's on the way. I think it'll be on the way to Andy Robbo. And I think it could be on the way to him, but I think that once Hendo is on the pitch, he's wearing the armband.
Definitely, mate. So final question there. So Liverpool change company, would you? Kev, you mentioned Robbo. I'd agree. Jude, if he comes in, he's captain material.
Eventually,
I'd say Trent. I know he's got aspirations, but I think he's
not vocal. He said himself he wanted to be Gerrard vocal on the pitch, but he can't really do that from right back position, in my opinion. I think he doesn't talk enough because he's too busy. I think he's too busy to be a captain in what he does. And I think a captain is always a goalkeeper, centre half, or somebody in the middle of the park. Especially for me, it's always got to be a midfielder in my eyes. I think, you need somebody screaming, or somebody like Van Dijk in the back line that's shouting at him. Robbo's he's a natural left back, and he's a natural left wing back. So I think he's more vocal because his natural ability is to defend, whereas not Trent's always looking ahead for the pass, and then he's over concentrating on defensive issues because he lacks judgment of getting back early. So
Robbo as well, can't you?
It is, yeah. You could feel even out of both of them. I mean, he's a Scouse. You'd want to see a Scouser as captain of Liverpool, but at the moment it's Robbo for me. I think Trent maybe gets, just being a Scouser, maybe gets vice captain eventually when Millie and Henderson leave.
I think
Van Dijk could probably be a good captain as well, but he's at an age that maybe he can get it now with vice captain Robbo. I don't know.
You say when Sammy got that captaincy as well, mate, wasn't he? Obviously, Sammy passed it on to Gerrard at a young age. But I think this period, most importantly, just to round off chat, is very much shown the characters of certain players in the last 6 months. I think massively. The lackadaisical nature, the can't be bothered mentality of certain individuals in this squad. And I think that would be a massive point to what we've already mentioned, and a lot of people agreeing with there, mates, in terms of Robbo. Matthias has went this season, Milner is second captain, Van Dijk is third, and Alisson
fourth, yeah.
That's a big shout as well. He led by example, well, he has. I think Alisson, would you say, kept getting him and Salah? But if I was me, especially Liverpool get top 4, I'd give Alisson player of the season.
Player of the season? Oh, he's player of the season since kickoff of the season. By a country mile, Alisson is. Nobody else has gotten anywhere near it. No matter how much, it all depends on the drive to the end of the season. But for me, Alisson gets it. I think the team won't deny him that either. And even at that, you can see, I don't know who else. Like, if you're going for team of the season as well, Alisson might even miss out to Nick Pope if it's going by what they're just going like the softy version of it. But you can't underestimate the importance that Alisson has had to Liverpool's defence this season. So many times we've been exposed, and so many times he saved us. And like, there's only so much saving he can do. Without we took a couple of hefty losses and stuff like that, but he was still saving our arse throughout that game, to be honest with you.
Definitely that.
In those games, I should say.
I'll try that for next time. I was just testing if we could get 2 logos on, because we're multi-streaming. Hopefully we can sort that for the next stream anyway. But
yeah,
Kev, massive thank you for jumping on, mate. As I said, please do shout out wherever.
Also, Jack, a massive thank you for jumping on to my channel.
Oh yeah, jumping on your channel.
Yeah, we forget about that. Because the chat's in the same place, so I don't even have to look at my stream. So it's
I say so. Yeah, Kev, do you want to play us out then, lad?
Huh?
Play us out.
La 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 la. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay. Write the team tune. Sing the team tune. Yeah, no, lads. Listen, thanks very much for joining me and Jack tonight. It's been fantastic. I'm going to be doing, as I said, a lot of vlogs next season. Like, I'm going to be annoying people in the new Annie, because the tickets I've got are for the Brody's Bar in Annie Road. So I'm going to be annoying a lot of people in Anfield Road with my selfie stick, and and the gleam off my forehead, shining back and top for them. So yeah, that should be good. But look, it'd be good to get back there again, because I haven't had the chat. Like, I lived there. Would you believe, Jack, I didn't do a foreign holiday from 2002 until June last year, and I went to Disneyland with the family. And that was 20 years. I went to Cyprus in 2002, and I hadn't, and France was the next place that I went to outside of just going to Liverpool. My holiday every year was going off to Liverpool about 6 times a season, like 6-7 days a season. So that was my thing, like, So I'll be glad to get back to that again, because we're doing family holiday this year, and I can still do my family holiday, and a few tours. But I just want to be able to get back to Anfield, because I'm not happy unless I'm over in Liverpool. At least every 4 to 6 weeks, at least, You know, when it starts coming out of my system, I get detox.
It'd be good to see you.
Yeah, it'd be good, yeah, because we haven't actually met in real life, which is funny. Yet, even though I was over there for the Champions League final, but I actually went home sick early because I had a bad virus that time. I actually left early and flew home early.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely sort something. But as I said, as Kev's alluded to, massive thank you to every single one of you in the comments as well on both channels. Hopefully this has worked properly, and obviously give it a little review in a little second as well, and see what it's looked like in terms of the analytics and everything. But as I said, massive thank you, Kev. As I said, for not just coming on my channel, but for having me on your channel as well.
Yes, Kev, thank you for coming on my channel.
What you mean? Not bad stuff. I was like, whoa. But, massive thank you. Are you live tonight, mate? Are you streaming?
Yeah, I do. I might do a little bit of stream. I've got a thing to finish off in As Dusk Falls. It's the last chapter to finish off. I think it's only about 20-30 minutes long. I might get it done. It depends. It's 10 to 12 now. Gotta be up early. I probably won't stream it tonight. Right. I'll probably do it tomorrow evening early. I've got logos and things to work on tonight, so I might do that for an hour. Because I found out a nice little AI trick, which is great.
Good. But big up there, Mark. As I said, big up chat, and massive thank you for everyone watching on Sparta's channel as well. Have a fantastic rest of your night. We will be live tomorrow. What day are we on? Wednesday tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be doing something. We'll do. We don't really set the agendas, but if there's any, I did mention on the community tab on my channel. We're doing like player reviews. Hopefully get Connor on for that as well. And yeah, it'll be interesting. But chat. Kev, everyone, have a lovely rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Ta-da, everyone.